Imagine a parallel universe, a universe with an Earth that is much like our own, in which Adolf Hitler wrote Mein Kampf in a slightly different way. A parallel universe in which Adolf Hitler didn't write Mein Kampf from an author perspective, but claimed to have received it from God while in prison. A Mein Kampf that is written in the form of religious verses, a book that forms the basis of the religious ideology called Nazism. In this parallel universe, Adolf Hitler didn't go to war, but after having removed the Jews and non-whites from his land, he established a country in middle of Europe, a country of which the main religion is Nazism. Nazi temples can be seen in every city. These are holy places, where the final message from God is read in the holy book Mein Kampf, a country that's only for people of the so-called Aryan race. Other races are not allowed to cross the borders of this Germany. For this reason, this Germany has been the target of economic sanctions for many decades, leading to a very bad economy, and therefore many German migrants have been coming to the UK to build a prosperous life. Because there is freedom of religion in the UK, several Nazi temples have been built for the Nazi migrants, so that they can practice their religion in peace. Such diversity, a true enrichment of British society. But after a while, strange events take place. For some reason there is a sudden increase in attacks against non-whites in the UK. Very strange. And in many cases, the attackers use some kind of gas as a weapon. The victims are often Indian migrants, such as Hindus or Sikhs. But also black Africans and Jewish people are often the victims. The attackers are always from German origin, and they're always practicing Nazis. In many cases, the attackers even yell "Sieg Heil." After every attack, the British media and the politicians say that people should unite against fear and that hatred shouldn't win. Then another attack takes place. A horrible gas attack on a synagogue. 6 Jewish people died. The British media then says that the attacker had mental problems. Further research then indicates that the attacker was a member of the Nazi religion. Suddenly, a few members of the Indian community speak out. They have a problem with non-whites and Jews, they claim. Really? But of course, the majority of the British population knows better. This has nothing to do with Nazism. Not all Nazis do these kind of things. Then, another attack takes place. A member of the Nazi religion throws boiled gas in the face of a Hindu woman while yelling "Sieg Heil." The Hindu woman is damaged for the rest of her life, and more Indians start to complain about the religion of Nazism. They're doing it only to non-whites, they claim. The British media then organizes a talk show in which several British journalists and politicians complain about the Indian community. What a racists! What a bigots! This has nothing to do with Nazism. Then, a Nazi temple in Manchester invites a Nazi pastor from Germany to lead a prayer. But this man is known to be a very quote-unquote radical Nazi pastor, who has called for the extermination of all non-whites on multiple occasions. But of course, there is freedom of expression in the UK, so this man can come and say whatever he wants. But for some reason, some British people are starting to distrust the Nazi religion, and on the internet several blogs appear, featuring several articles that are critical towards Nazism. But these blogs are then labeled as far-right websites and racist websites. Then a lady called Annemarie Earth appears, who speaks out against Nazism. There is a link between the content of their holy book and these attacks, she claims. But the majority of the Brits know better. Annemarie Earth is just a bigot. Then another attack takes place. 2 black men are stabbed to death by a Nazi yelling "Sieg Heil." After that, the British politicians say that we should all unite. A hashtag is created on social media, and the media reminds us all that not all Nazis do these kind of things. The British media then organizes a talk show featuring several guests who were also members of the Nazi religion. We feel very discriminated, they say. We don't feel accepted by the British society. And you have to understand that these international sanctions against our country make us feel very sad. The British establishment then spends millions of pounds creating anti-racism programs, often targeting young children, to teach them that Nazism is a very peaceful religion. and that nobody should be excluded from society. Then another attack takes place. 12 Jewish girls are gassed in the elevator of their Jewish school. It was a horrible booby trap, created by a very well-educated German engineer, who happens to be a member of the Nazi religion. Then a man called Romy Tomlinson appears, a British man who grew up in a neighborhood where mostly Nazis live. I've seen it, believe me. Many Nazis support this kind of violence against non-whites. It's in their culture, I know this, believe me. But the majority of the Brits know better. This Ronnie Tomlinson guy is just a noisy bigot. He's just trying to spread hatred, they say. After that, the results of an ICM poll are published. It turns out that the level of extremism among the Nazis is higher than expected. 54% of the British Nazi population agreed with the statement, non-whites are inferior to whites. 30% disagreed, and 16% had no opinion. But the media quickly determines that the researcher who conducted this study was just biased. Then another attack takes place. A gas attack on a Jewish market. 13 people died and 34 people got wounded. The attacker gets arrested and admits that he did it in the name of God. It also turns out that he made a video message in which he quoted the specific verses from Mein Kampf that recommend the killing of non-whites. Verse 94. O great Aryan, the Jews are so underhanded and dirty. Protect your children from their evil influence. Verse 143. O superior Aryan, don't allow your blood and your land to become polluted by the Jews. Kill them wherever you find them. But the media concluded that this can't be why he did it. No, it must be something else. It must be because of racism and bigotry against Nazis. Then a lady suddenly appears, with the name Aya Hillary Allen, an ex-Nazi who left the Nazi religion to speak out against Nazism. But the British media concludes that she's just biased and trying to spread hatred. They then organize another talk show episode in which they invite several Nazi scholars and experts who claim that the word Nazism is actually based on the ancient pagan word Narzas, which means peace. So the terrorists aren't really Nazis, they've just been misinformed. So see, there's no problem. So now it all makes sense. The problem is not Nazism, it's radicalized Nazism. And this has nothing to do with Nazism. And above all, the British Empire also did bad things, so we shouldn't judge. Then the mayor of London, a man named Siegfried Kahn, who coincidentally also happens to be a Nazi, states that terror attacks are just part and parcel of life in a big city. The president of the United States, a man named Donald Duck, who's very good with Twitter, tweets that Siegfried Kahn should do more to stop these kinds of attacks. Siegfried Kahn then wants to cancel Donald Duck's state visit because he's very hateful and bigoted against Nazis. Then the establishment decides that the UK just needs more diversity in its police force. That would solve every problem. The UK just needs to allow policemen who also happen to be members of the Nazi religion to openly show their religion while working. See? That's much better. The police force should be a reflection of the total society, and everyone should feel represented by the police force. Then a little TV debate takes place between Anne-Marie Earth and a Nazi expert. Verse 143 literally says, O superior Aryan, don't allow your blood and your land to become polluted by the Jews. Kill them whenever you find them, she says. It says kill them whenever you find them. The expert then replies by saying, no, it doesn't say that. The word kill is actually derived from the pagan word kala, and kala refers to the verb to help. So it actually says, help them whenever you find them. So if that's true, then why has Germany exterminated all its Jews? She asks. The talk show host then interrupts. Okay, that's enough for today. Thanks for watching. The crowd applauds the Nazi scholar and boos at Mrs. Earth. So that's how it's going to be for this UK. The country is increasingly getting Nazified as the percentage of the population that's Nazi gradually increases, and the frequency of attacks gradually increases as well, even though the British security services are working 24/7 to foil terror attacks. Sometimes they even foiled 3 attacks in one single week. But of course, the Brits should all remain calm and not get angry, because that would only make it worse. And above all, it could even lead to NAZIPHOBIA. And that would really be terrible. This is so weird. When will these Brits ever realize that poor Anne-Marie Earth isn't a racist? but instead a hero? When will these Brits finally realize that Ronnie Tomlinson isn't some noisy bigot, but is actually right about Nazism? When will these Brits realize that Aya Hilary Allen isn't a Naziphobe, but instead somebody who's risking her life to warn the Brits about Nazism? What a strange parallel universe. This parallel universe sucks. Let's go back to our own universe, because the universe that we live in is different. Nothing like this could ever happen in our universe, right? Right?